Being productive is generating an immense amount of suffering in your life right now. Here's why. I'm 28. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 14. And since I was a kid, I had this achievers type of mentality, right? When I was in third grade, I got third place in a nationwide math competition. When I was in middle school, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, I played on an AAU basketball team. We used to travel all around the Midwest. We lived in Iowa at the time and finished really well in tournaments, right? Um, when I was 14, I started making beats. I started my entrepreneurial journey. Then when I was 17, 18, I started my music agency, so on and so forth. I'm not going to go through my whole entrepreneurial path, but basically, I have been an achiever. My sense of worthiness was not inherent, and I picked that up from childhood, right? Me, my authentic self, who I wasn't worthy. So I had to go out into the world and to achieve things, to feel worthy, and also to show my parents that I was worthy. Let me get some water here. We're just going to keep it real raw and uncut. So yeah, I had this inherent sense of unworthiness since I was a kid. So I went out into the world and tried to achieve things, and I did achieve things. To be fair, I did achieve a lot of great things, especially in business as an entrepreneur. But it was never enough. Now, during my whole entrepreneurial journey, I got into the habit of keeping track of every single aspect of my life. It got crazy. I didn't just track how many hours I worked, I tracked every little thing I did at work. Outside of work, I tracked how many calories I ate, how many grams of protein I ate on a day to day basis, how much I meditated. I tracked if I did yoga or didn't do yoga, if if I took a walk, how long the walk was, if I listened to an audio book, how long I listened to it, how many pages of a book I read. I tracked literally every little, if I went to the gym, how many weights did I lift, how many sets, how many reps, every little thing that I did in my life became a means to an end. I didn't do them for the sake of being, for the sake of feeling joyous, feeling peace, feeling love, right? I did it to feel productive, because if I was productive, I went out or I was able to achieve things, right? I'm able to be enough. I also have this other pattern that I've had since I was a child where I project my emotional well-being into the future. And I'm like, I'm not okay now. Something external needs to change for me to be okay. I call it my seeker. And it's driven 98% of my life for the last 28 years. I really became really conscious of it just a couple weeks ago. And it's crazy how many times a day it rears its head. But it's beautiful because I'm learning. And this is also tied to the seeker, because me being productive, meditating, keeping track of it, journaling, I keep track of when I journal. I have like a to-do list. Every little thing in my life I put in there. Okay. Or that's how it's been the past at least 5-6 years of my life. Before that, I had a calendar as an entrepreneur, but it wasn't as meticulous with non-work related things. Yeah. Where was I? We're going to keep it raw, no edits here. But yeah, I worked out of a calendar. I still do work out of a calendar, but I made everything into a game. And what that did, it took the essence of being out of these things. I did them as a means to an end. And I did them because, hey, if I do these things, I'm going to make more money. I'm going to lose weight, right? I'm going to find a girl and be able to have a beautiful family. I'm going to find security. I'm going to be great financially. Maybe I'm going to make more friends. Whatever the case may be, I'm going to be able to achieve something that's going to be able to put me into a state that is inaccessible to me now. That's what I was telling myself. And I was projecting my emotional well-being into the future. And I was saying, hey, something outside of me needs to change for me to be okay, or for me to be in a non-suffering, in a connected state. And me, by way of doing that, that was me unconsciously not trusting God. That was me unconsciously not taking responsibility and stepping into my power, my divine power that God bestowed on me, that God bestowed on you. Right? So me being productive, me having this to-do list, every little thing in my life I put in this thing. I look back on it on a day-to-day basis and on a week-to-week basis. I look back at this thing. I have my calendar. I have my weekly goals that I create every single week. And it just gamifies my life, and it takes purpose, and it takes being outside of the doing. Well, the being is the foundation of the doing. The being should be the foundation of the doing. Get into a connected state where you feel God in your heart. You connect to God genuinely, deep in your soul. And then do from there. And then what you do ends up mattering a lot less. And when I'm in that state, and when I'm truly being, and I'm okay, and I'm good, and I'm in a state of peace, and I feel that, it's funny, I actually end up being more productive. I end up going to the gym more, working out harder, working harder, working more, getting out into the sun more, journaling more, meditating more. And that suffering that's attached to the mindless doing, where I do in order to X, in order to change something, in order for the future, I believe that the future can give me something I don't have access to now. Let me do now as a means to an end to build this future up for myself so that I could finally be happy and stop suffering and stop seeking. It's never enough. It's never going to be enough doing, and there's nothing in the future that you don't have access to now. God gave us that power where we're in charge of our state. And the only thing that matters is our state. And it's a beautiful thing, and it's incredibly empowering. And when you really embody this, you stop looping all the time in your head, telling yourself stories. Right? If you really embody that, step into your power, it's such a beautiful thing, because therefore you give yourself permission to stop looping in these stories and worrying and fearing and projecting. And life becomes so much more simple. Okay, so if you're an entrepreneur, a lot of entrepreneurs, I know so many entrepreneurs, lots of my friends are, you might have this achiever type of mentality that I have, that came to you as a kid because you didn't feel worthy. And it's totally okay to feel like that. You didn't, at a level, you didn't choose to be given that, right? Some people say at a super deep level, you chose everything in your life. But that pattern was given to you, right? And for me, it's caused me so much suffering. I look back on my day. Hey, was I productive? Did I meditate enough? Did I read enough? Did I work enough? Okay, cool. It's 2 p.m. What did I do today? How long did I work? Did I work out? It just takes me out of here and puts me right into here. I don't need that. If I'm just in here, I do the aligned thing. I do the aligned action from a state of connectivity, but the state comes first. If I'm like, oh, let me be productive, I'm in my head, and then I feel guilty about not being productive, and I feel ashamed about not being productive, and I dread things later on in the day. Oh, I have this call at 7, a call at 8, 9, right, with clients or whatever the case may be. It's all a game, and I never realized this. I've been doing spiritual work, like deep fucking work, for what, 2-3 years now. This all started July 2022 for me. I record this November 2025. It's been night and day growth. It's been insane. It's been incredible. Best thing I've ever done. And I just now caught this in the past week. Went by unnoticed, and I'm just, it's part of the path. It's so deep, and there's layer on top of layer on top of layer on top of layer. And the past couple days, me taking all these things out of my calendar and just leaving it with work stuff. That's it, just work stuff. Taking the journaling out, the meditation out, the gym out. Still doing these things, obviously, right? But it's been so freeing. It's like taking a weight off my shoulders that I've been carrying for years. And when I sit down and meditate now, I still feel that gamification piece within me. Okay, cool. Let me set up a timer. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Great. Let me meditate for 15 minutes so I can check it off in my calendar. Not for the sake of being, but for the sake of doing and achieving. I still feel that trigger, obviously, of course. This is something that's been going on for years, even decades in my life. So the more conscious of it I am over and over and over, and everything that I talk about here, you want to see if this is applying for you, right? A lot of entrepreneurs, even if you're not an entrepreneur, really good chance this applies to you, because these are not just my patterns. These are, as a collective, we're all dealing with the same things in life. They might present themselves differently, but deep, deep down, they're the same. They're human wounds. They're not individual wounds. Human patterns, collective. Yeah, I still gamify the meditation. I'm like, okay, great. I meditated for 15 minutes, for 20 minutes. Let me check. Oh, right. I'm not doing this anymore. Okay, cool. I'm going to journal so I can check it. Like, no, let me just journal to journal, man. Let me just meditate for the sake of being in a more elevated state, whatever you want to call it, to suffer less, to be more loving, to feel God, man. That's it. That's why. That's why I want to go out and do all these things, to feel God and be a fucking angel of God and spread that and spread the light to people, spread divinity to people. So yeah, being productive has caused me so much suffering in my life. And I am ready to stop being productive and to start being more connected. All right. I will see you in the next video. Talk soon.